Taylor McGregor of the Chicago Cubs is reporting that Porter Hodge as well as Shota Imanaga both threw bullpen sessions last night, over 30 pitches for both pitchers, which is a great sign. Shota is going to immensely help out that starting pitching staff as well as Porter Hodge, high velocity guy, wipeout, off speed, would definitely help out, the bullpen. Porter Hodge has not been that good this year, but he has a lot of talent, a very high floor ceiling, and he's a very young player. So I expect Porter Hodge to continue to get better. Maybe he had some lingering issues that was kind of affecting him, right? Who knows? But yes, those two players should be returning soon, and I can't wait for it. With that being said, welcome back to the Cubby Perspective. My name is Andrew. Very excited to be here today. The Cubs are coming off a series loss against Detroit. At least we won 1 out of 2 against the best team in baseball. There was some questionable umpiring that could have swayed, the favor in Detroit's way or vice versa. But the umpiring wasn't that good in that series, and that's obviously been proven already. But hey, the Cubs got to rebound from that. We have another tough opponent coming up in the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 37-28. They got a good pitching staff, right? They got Zach Wheeler, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best, right? He's been the most consistent out of the past 5 years or so. So this is going to be a tough series for the Chicago Cubs. So let's dive into it and see if the Cubs or how the Cubs match up against the Philadelphia Phillies. Game one starts at 5:45 p.m. today. Matthew Boyd going up against Zach Wheeler. Matthew Boyd has been pitching really well for us. 5-3 on the year, 3.01 ERA, 70 strikeouts. He's been doing his job, and he's been doing his job pretty well. On the opposing side of the pitching mound, you got Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler 6-2 with a 2.96 ERA, 94 strikeouts. Zach Wheeler is in elite company, and he's been in elite company for quite some time now. So the Cubs definitely, the Cubs definitely got to dig deep in this game if they want to beat the Philadelphia Phillies, because not only do they got Zach Wheeler going, right, they have a very good lineup. The Cubs are lucky. I say lucky lightheartedly. I don't really ever want to see a player get injured, but at least Bryce Harper is not in the starting lineup. He's dealing with an injury, so the Cubs are going to miss out on Bryce Harper. But they still got Turner. They still got Schwarber, Castellanos, Romuto. They still have a very good, potent lineup. So we're just going to have to see what happens, right? Game two, we have Colin Ray going. Colin Ray has not been pitching well for us, and quite frankly, I'm kind of getting sick of seeing him starting every single day. He started off the year really well for us, but has definitely come down to earth. And he is my projected starting pitcher to get bumped out of the rotation as soon as Shota Imanaga comes back. Colin Ray is 4-2 on the year with a 3.59 ERA and 43 strikeouts. On paper, that seems pretty good, but as of late, he has not been good at all. Mick Abel on the opposing side of the pitching mound is 1-0 with a .79 ERA and 11 strikeouts. Only 11.1 innings pitched this year. In those two games he's pitched pretty damn well, right? Now, one of those games was against Pittsburgh, so you got to take that with a grain of salt, let's be honest, because Pittsburgh is absolutely horrible. The other one was Toronto. Toronto's having a semi-decent season, right? So, but nonetheless, right, young pitcher that's been starting off pretty well with them, right? It's not going to be just a joke of a game. The Cubs are going to have to dig deep as well, right? We can't take anything for granted these days. The Phillies, like I said numerous times already, are a very good team this year, and they are going to play us well. Hopefully we could win this series against them 2 out of 3, right, and make a comeback off of that lousy 1-2, series loss against the Detroit Tigers. So we'll see. Last but not least, we have Ben Brown going up against Jesus Luzardo. Ben Brown has been pitching really well his last 2 starts. It's always kind of funny. It's an ongoing joke, within my friend group and stuff like that, where every time I make a video that is, not talking shit about someone, but talking down upon them, because how they've been performing, they always come back like lightning in a bottle and just completely, prove that I'm wrong, right? So, yes, even though I study the Cubs, I live, breathe, and die the Chicago Cubs, yes, sometimes my takes are also wrong. And Ben Brown has kind of proven that my takes were wrong. Now, it's only a 2 game sample size where he's been pitching really well, but they've been pretty dominant starts. Against Cincinnati, 6 strikeouts, or excuse me, 6 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 0 earned. That's phenomenal. Against Detroit, the best team in baseball this year, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, and a quality start. So he's been pitching really well. So hopefully Ben Brown can continue that success against another dominant or good offensive team such as the Phillies. On the opposing side of the mound, Jesus Luzardo, 5-2 with a 4.46 ERA this year and 83 strikeouts. He's striking out a lot of people, right? He's winning his ball games, his 5-2 record, but his ERA is a little bit inflated. He is a lefty, so that means Dansby Swanson is going to be most likely hitting well. Hopefully that can translate into other areas of the offense. Michael Busch, who knows what they're going to do with him that series? Are they going to put in Justin Turner? Because my previous video that I made, Michael Busch does not have left-handed pitching like at all, and I mean like at all. He struggles mightily against left-handed pitching, even though he has like a 900 OPS, which is insane. None of that is coming from the left side of the plate, right? That's all from the, right side or right-handed pitchers. So we're gonna have to see what Craig Counsell ultimately decides with Michael Busch if he's going to be in that lineup that day. 2 players to look out for in this series against the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. I feel like that somewhat means something. Right, are going to be Nico Horner as well as Kyle Tucker, and let me explain why. Right, so this is according to MLB Network. I was watching MLB Central this morning, right, and they broke down the list of players who are doing really well this year, right? So notable players 2025 in zone contact percentage. So this how often are they making contact with pitches inside the strike zone, right? And this list has a lot of good names on there, such as Stephen Kwan, Luis Ariz, Jacob Wilson, Jose Ramirez, Brandon Donovan, Sal Frelick, Trey Turner, and also Nico Horner and Kyle Tucker. Nico Horner is making 95.6% of contact with pitches inside the strike zone, which is pretty remarkable, which is leading to I think like a 6% strikeout rate, which is insane. That is well above, well below league average for strikeouts, and that just means more success. That's why you see Nico Horner's average inflated this year and stuff like that, and he's getting on base and creating havoc. He's having a pretty good season for us. Kyle Tucker, even though he's been kind of quiet lately, guess what? He's still sporting a 400 on base percentage. He's still, he's still getting on base, stealing bags and stuff like that. Kyle Tucker's in zone contact percentage is 85.8%. So he's doing a very good job of limiting his strikeouts. He only has an 11.5% strikeout rate on this season. That's pretty damn good. That's what you want to see out of one of your best hitters on the team, if not the best hitter on your team. Right. Now, I'm like Kyle Tucker, like I said, he has been hitting the ball that well, but he still impacts the game on a daily basis, game in and game out. So that's what I really enjoy out of Kyle Tucker. But yeah, like I said, strikeout rates are pretty insane. So hopefully that translates into more success in this series. Hopefully the Cubs can get back on track and win this series against the Philadelphia Phillies. So to finish off the video, my picks to click, if you haven't already realized, are going to be Nico Horner as well as Kyle Tucker. And my last pick to click is going to be P. Crow Armstrong. It feels like it's clockwork now where P. Crow Armstrong does something big in this series, whether it's a major home run or outstanding defensive play. He's going to impact the game this series of some sort. So Pico Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, Nico Horner. Bet those guys if you guys want to make some money in this series. And against Jesus Luzardo on June 11th, smash Dansby Swanson. Smash the Dansby Swanson money, whatever. I'm not too big into betting, but I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. Dansby Swanson does incredibly well against left-handed pitching, especially, a fastball pitcher, right? So those are my picks to click. I guess 4 picks to click, but only Dansby Swanson on June 11th. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any comments, please put them down below. If you have any questions, concerns, if you want to debate me on anything, I'm always open up for a debate. I love, discussing baseball with all of you. That really gets my gears grinding is when people interact with me in the comment section below. So like I said, if you have any questions surrounding the game in general, or the Chicago Cubs, or even the Phillies, because we're versing them, please let me know down below. I will answer them to the best of my capabilities. I promise you that. But with that being said, always keep the faith. Go Cubs, and I am the Cubby perspective. Have a good one, and go Cubs.